G'day, my name is Ubago, and welcome back to Let's Play Star Trek Online. So this week we're going to dive into a little bit more of the tutorials here on Earth Spacedock before we get started on our first real mission. So the first thing is that you probably noticed right at the end of the last mission I picked up two new tutorial missions. That's just going to help explain more about things that you can do on the space dock. And Earth Spacedock is actually designed fairly well. It's just a big oval with everything in different locations. Each quadrant is for a different thing. The red quadrant here is engineering, so this is where you can get and change your starships and change how they look. Up here in the blue is basically your it's for like personnel management. You can purchase new bridge officers, change their change the skills on them. You can also create new fleets, which are basically the guilds of this game. And there's one of the trainers there on, or one of the tutorial guys on how to basically train your skills. The green area is the bank and the auction house, and the yellow area is the lounge and the ground supplies vendor. So we'll all see them in just a little bit. First, we'll go talk to a fellow over here for a tutorial on skills. Which doesn't really say much. Yeah. So I'll just really cover what he's going to say. Up here is basically the XP bar, and you'll notice that there's two sections to it. The first, the white one, is basically your progression to the next level, and then the yellow one underneath it is your progression to the next rank. Each rank has 10 grades inside of it, and each grade is basically a level. Here, I'll just open this up. This will show. And at each level, you also get various bonuses, most of which are just access to different things. But at some levels, you also get new powers or free stuff. So basically at every 10 levels, you go up in rank. And when you go up in rank, you then get the ability to buy the next tier of starships, as well as actually, it's really about it. If you are a subscriber or a lifetime member, when you get a rank up, you get a token for a free starship. However, if you are just a free silver member, then you get a token that gives you I think it's roughly 90% off the cost of a starship instead. And I'll go over purchasing starships later. Now, the other thing as well is that your XP is actually skill points, which are used to purchase your skills, and the skill system that they have in Star Trek Online right now is much better than the way it used to be. When the game launched, the way it worked was, for the most part, there was still a number of fields which were generic to all classes, and then there was a few blocks which were specific to that one class. And that's still mostly true here, except in Star Trek Online, in the new version, they've mostly limit the unique to your class skills for ground abilities. Which actually makes more sense than the way it used to be, because when you're in your ship, you as the captain are mostly managing your crew, and the crew is the one that's doing most of the actual stuff on the ship. Whereas when you're on the ground, you are yourself. So your individual abilities shine through a lot more. So your space skills tend to be more your ability to manage your personnel, where your your ground skills tend to be your own personal abilities. Some of the really shitty things which were true in the old skill system, though, is that there was individual skills for each specific class of starship, which gave you various bonuses in when piloting that class of starship, and the same type of ship at higher ranks. So you would put in, say, skill points on piloting a heavy cruiser, and then some parts of those skills would carry on to piloting the next tier of cruiser. But this whole setup, though, made it very it very discouraged players from wanting to try out various types of ships, especially once you got to max level. And even if you wanted to only stick to cruisers, as an example, there's a lot of different cruisers that you could fly. There's even before the change to this, there was 3 or 4 different categories of cruisers, and if you wanted to switch between each one, you had to go and respec your skills, and that can be a big pain. On top of that, and this is really the thing that was the most unfair, is that there's also a set of skills at each rank level that affected your damage with various weapon types, and not weapon types as in between standard beams or beam cannons. This was like the various types of energy or various types of physical weapons, like your damage with phasers or your damage with disruptors. And the problem with this is that because it had the different types at each rank, which mostly matched up with the rank that you would start finding those weapons, even though each individual skill gave the same bonus if you max it out, the weapon skills for the higher ones required more skill points. Even though the way all the energy types are designed, they all deal about the same damage. And they're all about as effective. It's just that they all have different bonuses associated with them. So that made those energy, and at the same time, it very much discouraged players from wanting to choose different types of energy weapons for their ships, because they had to sink so many skill points into boosting any one of them that they couldn't afford to use any others. So while the skill system at the launch was very good at allowing you to do whatever you wanted no matter what your class was, it still failed quite a lot on allowing you to experiment and manage a ship that you wanted to. The new one is way better at that, because they've gotten rid of all the specific bonuses and have spread them out into various generic bonuses. So we'll just look at the ones that I can purchase at my lieutenant rank. So Starship Attack Patterns increases the associated skill, and the Starship Attack Pattern skill basically benefits. There's a series of bridge officer skills called Attack Pattern, and basically more points in Starship Attack Patterns makes those skills more effective. Starship Weapons Training just straight up allows me to do more damage with all my weapons, so that's going to be a good one. Driver Coil gives me bonus speed when I'm flying around in space, which is very useful. It has a default limit for warp that can be broken with some very specific drive types, and I'll go over that in much later on. Starship Batteries improves the duration of batteries, which are a consumable item you can equip on your ship. I don't find those that useful, so I don't take any points in that at all. Starship Hull Repair gives bonuses to all skills, which repair your starship's hull, which is going to be very effective for me since I'll be flying around in escorts, and I'll be needing to heal my hull because they're fairly weak. Starship flow capacitors improves the ability of improves all of your abilities that drain an enemy ship's energy or their shields, which can be useful. Probably not for what I'm going to end up doing, but if you are wanting to do a science captain with a lean, or any captain with a lean towards using science abilities, flow capacitors would be a very useful one. And then Starship Shield Emitters is an increase to any ability which improves Starship Shield heals, which is also going to be a useful one for me. And then down to ground skills, there's Demolitions, which improves any of my explosive abilities, which is, I don't normally use those. And then Weapon Proficiency, which just straight up improves all my weapons on the ground. So that would be a useful one. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but each skill, at each rank, there's a minimum amount that you have to spend in total across all of them before you can start buying skills at the next rank, even if you've advanced to the next rank. And as well, there's a max amount that you can spend in total with the amount of skill points that you have available. This is kind of to fix a problem that they had, in that a lot of players were putting all their skill points into space skills and then complaining that they were bad in ground combat, or vice versa, although it's really hard to do the reverse. At least it really is now. And so to encourage players to spread out their skills a lot more, they basically put caps on how much you can spend in total. And it's pretty much, you can't spend more than 70% of your skill points in space, in space skills. I don't like it, because it's a very heavy-handed way of fixing a problem, which is really more of an indication of how people enjoy the ground activities in this game. I don't have to say that the ground combat is bad, but it's not as good as the space combat. So, but at the same time, it's not fun for anyone to not have any skill points in the ground skills, because then, while ground combat isn't most of the combat in the game, it's still a large amount if you're doing the you're doing the story content. So as a result, it's just not a good idea to be ignoring it entirely. So it's very heavy-handed, it's not very elegant, but it sort of does what they wanted to do. So anyway, that's a pretty long-winded explanation, so I'm going to... Oh, another thing as well about skills, which is pretty nice, is that this was also mostly true in Classic, but the brackets were much different. The skills are also tiered in their bonuses, so the first three upgrades you get give the most bonus to that skill per level. The next three give a medium, and then the last three give a very small amount. This is to encourage players to spread their skill points around more. If you really want to min-max one specific thing, you're still able to, but it's just that they front-loaded most of the benefit of this skill at the front of it, so that you don't feel that you need to spend all your points into one thing in order to be good at it. Some skills as well, when you learn certain ranks of it, and you have to be certain classes do this as well, it teaches you the ability to train your bridge officers in various abilities. And some of these are really kind of goofy, because it teaches you the ability to train them in abilities that they can't use for quite a while. Like this one here, if I'm a tactical captain and I get 6 levels in this, I can get 6 ranks in Starship Attack Patterns probably by level 2, if not by, well, actually, how many skill points? Yeah, so I mean, I can unlock this ability right now if I was a tactical captain, but my bridge officer would not be able to use this for about another 30 levels. So I wish that they managed that a little better. But yeah. Alright, so I'm going to put 3 points in weapons training. 3 points in hull repair, and because I'm about to cap out, I'll put 2 points in ground weapons. Okay. So that's the skills side of Earth Spacedock. Oh, and here is where you can go to get promoted once you reach your 10th level. Oh, and did I? Oh, whoops, I didn't actually accept those. Alright, there we go. You probably noticed a helpful little glowing icon there to show that, hey, you've got skill points to spend. The problem with that is that it will glow as long as you are able to spend any skill points, which means that after level 10, and once you unlock the abilities that require more than 1,000 skill points, you get that thing glowing pretty much all the time. Alright, so over here is the bank. All players have both a bank and an account bank that they can use to share things between their characters, which I'll be using to help me get some things on this guy. And your bank also expands as you go up in rank. Same with your standard inventory. Alright, next is the exchange, which is basically this game's auction house. The exchange is a lot better than it was before, but it's still not that great of a place to look up stuff. There's still some okay, whatever. There's still some various filters you can put in and other categories you can search in. It's it just could be better. It's better than it was. Really though, the thing that really breaks it is when they added the duty officer system, and that's something I'll go over once I unlock that with this character. But the duty officer system, like searching for duty officers in the exchange, can be such a pain. Anyway, here is our wonderful tailor. Which clears that tutorial. And just going into the tailor lets you, I can change the costume of my first bridge officer if I wanted. Basically, it just lets you go back into the character editor, and even though it's a tailor, it can let you change most of your actual character characteristics as well. So if you want to make yourself taller, want to change your looks as well as your clothes, then you can do that at the tailor as well. If you don't have free changes, then it costs a little bit amount of energy credits, which is basically this game's basic currency, in order to use the tailor. But it's not very expensive, and energy credits come by very quickly. These two fellows are for ground weapons, so you can either buy them from one of the two vendors with your energy credits, or you can buy it from the other vendor with dilithium. And dilithium is the other currency in the game. Dilithium is basically a time-gated currency. You gather it in an unrefined ore version, and then you can refine 8,000 of it per day. So there's a hard cap of how much you can effectively earn, but the amount that you can collect is basically unlimited. And you get dilithium by participating in various types of content, doing duty officers, doing various daily quests, doing the dungeons, so to speak. It's the stuff that I'll cover as I progress. And these two folks over here deal in commodities, and commodities are basically items that you can use to trade with. Well, some of them are used as inputs in certain quests, and you can use others to trade with other species. And then, of course, there's a club. It's a club. There's not much to go about that. In the center of Earth Spacedock, we have. Now, in here, back when the game first launched, this area was actually filled with characters that basically sold equipment for various marks that you got for participating in various level-gated content, and there was marks for every rank tier, so there was a lot of things to do, and there was a lot of marks that you had at the end, and eventually they consolidated it all into a single currency, which then they consolidated into dilithium, and so when they did that, they just got rid of the vendors from in here. But the skill trainer is here, and he will reset your skill points if you don't like how you've set them. So, but for the most part, this center of Earth Spacedock is no longer useful. So anyway, before I carry on to this next mission, actually, there's a optional part here to this mission as well, so I might as well do that. So just some background to this mission. So this mission was recently overhauled from how it was when the game first came out, and the new version of it is still mostly the same, but they did some pretty nice changes. But before I go and do this, as I was just about to mention, I'm going to actually pick up something that a few things. Actually, yeah. So, since I've been playing for quite a while, I've got a bunch of things that I've already got unlocked that I might as well add to my account here as well. Where are they? Okay, yep, here we go. Alright, so I'm going to, in the last episode we took a look at the light cruiser, and we'll probably take a look at the light cruiser again at some point, but today I'm actually going to look at, I'm going to choose a different ship, and for today's update we are going to use the NX class starship replica. So for those of you who don't know, the NX class is the class of starship that was seen in Star Trek Enterprise. This is one of the first warp-capable starships ever used by Earth, and as a result, that's why this version of it is called a replica. In fact, in the description of it here, this starship was basically produced by a bunch of engineers and historians to recreate the look of the original Enterprise with modern technology to make it actually worthwhile. Because like the old one didn't even have things like deflector shields, let alone real weapons. One of the neat things about the NX class replica, though, is that it comes with a special console, which gives the ship a grapple claw ability. And the grapple claw ability basically acts like a tractor beam, which is a power that you can get on a bridge officer. But the benefit of this is that it's something that is, well, since it's a console on the starship, you don't actually need to have a bridge officer with that ability. The tractor beam ability basically works as you think it would. It can hold an enemy ship in place, and which is very, very useful because a moving ship gains a bonus to defenses, which makes it harder to hit. So I'll just claim the NX class, and we'll just give it a new name. When you get a new ship, you are allowed to rename it for free right away. But if you want to rename it after that point, well, at least after the first rename, because you can close this and then still use your free rename. You can't. Oh, okay. I better actually collect this now too. You can still rename a ship once for free, even if you've closed that menu and decide not to right away. So another thing I picked up was I owned the Steam Starter Pack, so I just claimed that. So I'll just right, those are the two ships. I'll put those in my bank later. This is some more gear and some bridge officers. So now that I have some bridge officers, in fact, actually no, I'll go to set my new ship, and then I'll start arranging people. Okay, and the gear on the ship is the same, so I will just ready my light escort. And while I'm here, you can't do any customizations on the NX class replica, but here I'll show you some of the customizations you can do. If you own different so one of the things you can do is you can set the interior, which is basically what your bridge looks like. But setting a bridge costs energy credits. Even if you have a free redesign, you can't. You still need to pay money in order to set your interior. You can change the type of windows you have, and the windows also affect the look of your escape pods. Material is basically sort of what the armor on your ship looks like. Colors is well, so the colors affects the patterns that you use, and there are a variety of basically paint patterns that you can choose for each location on your ship. Now, if there was more designs that I could choose for the NX class at each area, I could choose them here. So, for example, if there was multiple saucer types, I could change them here. Multiple hulls, nacelles, or stanchions. And different ships have different one of these available. Not all ships have a hull per se, because it's like, for example, if I remember correctly, the Defiant doesn't really have a hull per se, because it's basically the nacelles attached right to what it considers the saucer, which is the main body. So in any case, that's fine with me. And when you get a ship, you get a free customization for it, and I'll just go with that. Okay. So now that I've got the my new ship set, we'll go into the stations. So here is where I can assign my my various bridge officers to the bridge officer stations on my ship. Bridge officer stations have a rank associated with them, and the rank is a cap on the limits that a bridge officer can use when they're inside that station. Because this is a tutorial level 1 ship, I can only use ensign slots, and to be honest, I can't promote one of my bridge officers to higher than ensign anyway. So of course they only get their first tier ability. So what do they have? Just power shields or engineering team? Yeah, I'll go with emergency power shields. Okay. Then you can also set here what your default away team is going to be. So I'd want to have, well, actually, basically everyone for now. The first one that you select is if a mission doesn't allow you to take your full away team, it'll start from the top and go down until it reaches the cap. So I generally put my science one at the top, assuming that they have a heal, which this one doesn't, but that'll be adjusted later. And then that way you would have a healer with you no matter the mission. Now, bridge officers also have skills, and but they're trained slightly differently from your own skills. You have your own pool of what's basically bridge officer skill points. I think they changed what the name of them was in a recent patch. And then but this is your pool, and then you spread them over all of your bridge officers. But there's no cap to how many you can spend on each one. In fact, what there is you have to spend a minimum number of skill points on a single bridge officer before you can promote them to the next rank. And of course you have to be of a higher rank in order to even promote a bridge officer. So I can't do anything with that right now. Once a bridge officer is promoted, they just gain the ability to use the next set of abilities. The bridge officer will always have these abilities, but putting more points into them, basically for space abilities, it makes them recharge faster. So in this case, I do want to put some skill points into engineering team so that it recharges faster. Actually, I probably shouldn't have. Whatever. Yeah. So it recharges faster, but for ground ones, it tends to just make them more effective. So anyway, now that and I might as well. Part of this Steam starter pack gives you some weapons as well, so I might as well equip those. One of the pre-order things I got was this automated defense turret, which is really kind of a neat thing. It basically is an automatic ability that will shoot. Basically, as enemies get close, it'll just automatically discharge a very weak attack at them. And since I really don't like much the look of any of the armors in this game, I'll just hide that. I think. Okay, yeah. So the guys I got for free come with armor and weapons already. So I'm going to instead put this other weapon and armor that I got from the bundle onto my other character here, and then just discard the standard issue ones that you get for free. Alright, so anyway, enough of that. Let's actually get started on this mission. So we'll beam back up to the ship. Alright. So, here's our nice little NX class replica. Actually, I'll rearrange this just a little bit. Alright. So, one of the... which one was... Okay, here we go. So, this is the full power tray, and one of the things I don't really like is having your bridge officer abilities on the power tray. So just mainly because the way I use it, it's more effective for me to just reach over and click them. So anyway, we'll warp to sector space. That seemed a little bugged there, but probably thought my ship was slightly larger than it actually is.
My friend sacrificed so much to secure peace with the Klingons. I bear the responsibility for the consequences to him and his crew. A thought that troubles me to this day. The hope was that this alliance would last forever. It did not. The Klingons have chosen war. The Federation is doing its utmost to protect its borders and the billions of innocents who call this space home. But I fear that this conflict may be our undoing.
So, a really nice thing is that basically each sector that you go into has a nice little voiceover by Leonard Nimoy when you first enter them. There's an item you can get later on that will allow you to actually replay them as well. So, and one thing you can do, I think I mentioned this before, is when you're here in sector space, you can actually just click on something on the map, and your ship will just automatically navigate a path to it, which can sometimes be a little finicky, especially when there's a lot of ships hanging out just outside of Seoul. There's a lot of beautiful ship designs in this game. I just really, really like how this game looks. Oh, here we go. So just as was potentially thought, something's happening to the SS Azura, so we'd better head over there and provide assistance. Well, once the map gets around to loading, that is. Okay, there we go. One thing that's also been really great is when they've done these new mastered missions, they've put the mission title on the warp-in animation like that, and it is a very, very nice touch. So anyway, it turns out that some Orion pirates have been attacking the SS Azura, so we probably should save them from this. Boy, my ship looks really tiny compared to everything else with that, because of that flyby. think it's supposed to look slightly better if you were flying the regular ship. Oh, probably not, because I think I'm pretty sure the Miranda is supposed to be about as big as the NX. Yeah, so thankfully with the auto fire on, I just need to only make sure that I hit the torpedo button on cooldown, and then make sure that I arrange myself so that my weapons are facing the enemy as necessary. As a pretty nice touch, a while ago they reworked the weapon fire animations so that when your weapons miss, they very appropriately shoot off into space at absolutely nothing at all. That's one of the nice things about your torpedoes. The torpedoes are very effective against hulls, while your phasers, your regular beams kind of aren't. So a good strategy is to use your beams to knock down an enemy's shields and then hit them in that area with a torpedo blast. But torpedoes are also still a lot of straight up damage, so it doesn't hurt to use them to help soften up the shields either. They're just not as effective, and the only thing you lose by firing a torpedo is some cooldown. You don't have ammo for any of your weapons in this game, even if you theoretically should. Alright, so with that done, the SS Azura has been saved for now, so we should see how it's doing. Oh, looks like something's not good over there, so we'll choose our away team, which we've already preset. I'll be adjusting this a bit as I carry... Oh, wow, that was kind of a mess. Apparently some of my guys are a little damaged. I guess they sort of fell from space or something. I don't know. Anyway. It's just... There's some really bad radiation over there on the Azura. So it just wants to let us know that, hey, we'll send you over there, but we may not be able to get you back. Please be careful. And then we go through this nice beam out animation again. This is like one of the very few times that you will see this, as for the reasons that I mentioned in the last video. But anyway, now we're here. Oh, yep, some of the Orions have managed to get on board. So we gotta stop some plasma leaks in order to get through and save the crew. Oh, so there's something we can open up. Get some goodies from that. You know, there's various crates and other things you can find around the world. Oh, here's an injured person. But unfortunately, because I am a engineering captain, there's nothing I can do about it because I don't have the proper medical training, as opposed to what the doctor told you during the tutorial. Oh, where is that first? Oh, the first one's right here, right next to the first plasma leak. Standing in that would not be good. Oh hey, look, there's some Orions. Yeah, by this point I wouldn't really have a full away team of 5 dudes, so I'm pretty much going to just tear through this mission. That's fine because it's a tutorial, so you don't want it to be too difficult. Well, yeah, and the idea of being able to have a full away team is a pretty amazing idea for this game. I mean, it's pretty great that even if you don't have a full party of friends, you can still have some characters to go around with and do some of the content in. Unfortunately, once you get to the max level, there's not a whole lot of the content that you can actually do with your away team, but it's still a nice touch. And they've been saying that there's more of that, like they're going to let you do more stuff over time. You might have noticed there that I picked up something called a lockbox. One of the things that was added when Cryptic was bought out by Perfect World was they added lockboxes, and lockboxes are basically random items. You need to have a you need to buy a key from the cash shop in order to open them, and they contain random goods. Could be things like just some consumables and another item which can be used to purchase other guaranteed goods, or it could even contain some equipment or some duty officers, or it could even contain a random or a special starship. I do have most of these special starships already due to pure luck, so I'll be showing some of them later. Well, anyone who's seen Star Trek knows that warp core breaches are pretty bad. So we don't want to let that happen. Alright, so what did I do? Okay, so because I'm an engineering captain, I can use my skill to okay. So I'm basically using my okay. So basically what I did is, because I'm an engineering captain, I was able to make use of my training to basically stabilize the warp core enough to get to let the ship get back to a starbase for repairs, instead of just exploding like it normally would. Oh, but of course there's now some more Orions beaming in, so we'd better get them out of the way. Oh, looks like one of my guys exploited an Orion, causing him to vaporize. Hey! These guys are dropping a lot of junk. I mean, they're low-level enemies, and if I didn't already have a starter pack, a lot of the stuff would actually be fairly useful. Because I wouldn't have any actual gear for these characters. Yeah, we kind of have a lot of time since we stabilized the core, you know. But anyway, we'll won't take chances and we'll just get them off the ship. Oh, and of course there's some more Orions to beat up, so we might as well hurry up and get back to the transporter pad. And fight off some more enemy ships. Some of the animations in this game are so goofy because they just have problems with getting things in the right places at the right times. So often some of these cutscenes will just look so weird. Oh, how cute. The Orions think that they can threaten us. They just don't know what they were asking for. Alright, now so that was the grappler ability. Basically holds the enemy ship in place for a short period of time. Has a really long cooldown because it's not a bridge officer ability, you can't reduce the cooldown. However, because it's a console instead of a bridge officer ability, you can just use it wherever. Oh, there's a new enemy ship. Ah, but it can't hurt me. Much. So when you're in... Oh, I should probably actually put power to my weapons. I forgot to do that. Yeah, so because, for the most part, I'm basically doing broadsiding, it's worthwhile to continually put your energy to the shield that's facing the enemy. Because, you know, you sort of want to refresh that, or else they'll just punch through it eventually. And now, I'll just use this power here. So what that bridge officer power is, it's called torpedo high yield, which basically boosts a torpedo ability to deal more damage. It has slightly different effects on different types of torpedoes. For most of them, it basically fires a small salvo of torpedoes, which count as a single weapon, single burst, which deals a whole lot of damage by itself. But on some torpedoes, it actually makes them a single very large targetable slow-moving torpedo, which deals a lot more damage but can be shot down by the enemy before it hits them. Right, so now that I've taken care of them, I can teleport the captain onto my ship, and because I did such a great job at erecting a new containment field around the warp core, it's not going to blow up. If you hadn't have done that, then she would basically be hanging around Earth Spacedock for the rest of the game, saying, "Yeah, I've got a nest egg. I can get a new ship later." Instead, you saved it, yay! So it manages to head back and get repaired. So now we're done, we can depart the system and turn in this mission. And one thing that's really nice about missions in Star Trek Online is that for the most part you don't actually have to go back to the quest giver in order to turn it in. You can actually just hail them right away and report how good of a job you did and get your rewards.
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
Oh, in fact, I got all that stuff for doing it. Oh, normally you need to choose. Oh, and because that was a story mission. Okay, so yeah, oh yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so because I already filled up all of my bridge officer slots, there's only so many bridge officers that you can have at each rank, and you can also buy more later on. If I go into the C store, I can buy more slots, but you also get more as you level up. So because all of these slots are already full, the 2 bridge officers that I got for completing that mission are just going like, hey, I can teach one of my skills to one of your bridge officers, or you can just wait until later. So that's what I'm going to do for now. So if I go here into stations, you can see that I've got the 2 bridge officers that I got just chilling. Any one of these abilities that they have, you can have them train one of your bridge officers on it for free, basically, which is pretty useful. But so with that, that's the mission I'm going to show for this update. Next week we're going to. Someone decided to try and invite me to a fleet, which I don't think I'll bother doing right now. So next, okay, yep, there it is. So this next mission, when I complete it, I get the item that lets me replay the little intros by Leonard Nimoy. But anyway, that's it for this mission, for this update. I'll see you all next time for another episode of Let's Play Star Trek Online.